We know you're busy and that you can't always find the time to tune in live to the Daily Breakfast Show. So we've handpicked the very best of this past week's news, and together with our show sponsors MB Crusher, we're delighted to bring you the Weekend Wrap. In this week's episode, Liebherr masters the art of golf. There's a close shave at the Gillette Stadium in America, and why Demolition's shoddy shop window may be holding back the industry's recruitment. All that and more on the Weekend Wrap. Imagine for a second that you have no connection to the demolition or construction business. And imagine that your son or daughter comes home from a careers evening at their school and proudly and excitedly announces that they want to pursue a career in demolition. You're a good parent and you want to be supportive, particularly as this sounds a lot more attainable than a career as a YouTube influencer. So you grab your smartphone and you punch into Google the word demolition and hit search. Assuming you're searching chronologically, your first exposure to the industry that has so attracted your son or daughter would be unlikely to fill you with any degree of confidence. In the past week or so, the key industry headlines read as follows. A building collapsed unexpectedly into a street in Stevenage. Thankfully, no one was hurt. A week on and the road remains closed and an investigation is underway. Another building collapsed while undergoing demolition in America, killing a demolition worker. A UK demolition company boss has just been found guilty of stashing highly dangerous asbestos in containers, potentially exposing the public to risk. And the UK demolition industry finds itself under investigation for alleged collusion. The web of intrigue is apparently so entangled that it's still being unpicked and unravelled 3 years on. Suddenly, that alternative career as a YouTube influencer doesn't sound quite so bad, does it? A successful career as a YouTuber is virtually impossible. It is right up there with a professional footballer, an astrophysicist, or the person responsible for getting Scarlett Johansson into her Black Widow costume. But in each of those, the likelihood is that your precious offspring would make it home safely every night. The likelihood is that they would not be constantly looking over their shoulder, living in fear of investigation or prosecution. And you, as their parent, wouldn't be constantly worried about their whereabouts or what they've gotten themselves into. Demolition, like construction, offers a superb opportunity to any young person that is willing to graft, to learn their trade, to learn new and hone existing skills. There is a clearly defined career path that leads to a future of promotion, greater responsibility, and a suitably lucrative level of reward. It's also a sector that can create lifelong friendships and partnerships. I would, and I have, recommended it to friends and relatives. But in order for the industry to attract those young people, it must mend its outward appearance. As in all walks of life, first impressions matter. And the first impression of demolition is not of exciting and dynamic careers. It's of risk, danger, and a somewhat lax approach to the letter of the law. Each new accident or fatality slams the employment door in the face of a potential new recruit. Each new prosecution means another young person being advised by their protective parents to pursue a career in a less sketchy business. Every business sector has a shop window. The shop window of the tech world, for example, is lit in electric blue and it carries the promise of a futuristic lifestyle and endless opportunity. The shop window of the sporting world offers riches beyond measure, of sporting greatness and of celebrity. The shop window of demolition right now comprises a pile of rubble that shouldn't be there, several injured workers, and a growing pile of court papers. If you knew nothing about demolition, would you push your child towards that shop window? Okay, we have just one more quick one for you today. We're popping down under to Australia for a very quick look at a very quick bridge demolition. All the latest news, views, video and comment from the demolition and construction industry, live and interactive each weekday morning at 10 a.m. GMT. Tune in, take part on The Breakfast Show, live. True story. More than 30 years ago, my former editor on the Plant Manager's Journal magazine returned from a trip to the northeast of England and spoke enthusiastically about a company he'd just met. That company was called Thompson's of Prudhoe, and 3 decades later, I still look on admiringly. Fans of American football and of the NFL will know that the New England Patriots play at the Gillette Stadium in Foxborough in Massachusetts. Let me try that again. In Massachusetts. The Bee Gees would turn in their graves, or some of them would. The stadium was opened in 2002 at a cost of $350 million. And now, just 20 years on, that stadium is undergoing a major renovation. And a key part of that renovation involves some very targeted demolition. eyes of the golfing world are currently turned towards Augusta and the National Golf Club as the 2022 Masters Tournament gets underway. Will Tiger Woods complete an astonishing comeback after his car crash 14 months ago? Will Justin Thomas or Jordan Spieth come good? Or will the title go to a European outsider?
There are a lot of top players on the field. They hit with the perfect swing and incredible touch. But at some holes, well, this can happen to any pro once, twice, or never mind. Oh, man. To hit it like Tiger and overcome all your challenges, there's only one choice for the right equipment. Our machines are so quiet that we can play where others can't. And we hit a hole-in-one every hole. Always. Try it for yourself on your next tournament. Play like Tiger with the Zero Emission Unplugged series from Liebherr.